Go.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today what we're going to do a 180-degree haircut with the razor. I'm going to show you how to do that. You will need a razor with a guard with some type of comb in front of it. It's safer unless you're very experienced. I am, but I don't want to show you that way with my Tandeo. I'm going to show you the regular school razor. Just because it's a little safer for somebody that's not comfortable with razor cutting, but yet you'll be able to do it. I've been very impressed with my students. At this point, we haven't gotten any kits. I mean, very little in our kit. And the one thing we did not get in it was the razor. I mean, the shears. So it's like, okay, we're almost into week 9, and they still don't have shears. And I've only got them another, we start our spring break next week, then maybe 9 weeks. Can you teach them haircutting in 9 weeks? Yeah, you can. But it's not just haircutting that they're learning. They're learning everything. I mean, everything, and trying to get them to retain that. Haircutting is architecture. Haircutting is geometry. Haircutting has definitely got some math in it, and it's got location and space. So there's reasons why, and you know, with my videos I tell you, oh, by the way, got to tell you, the book is out. So please, order the book. You can go through Barnes & Noble, any of them, just look for PhD stylist. Trust your PhD stylist, and they'll come up. It is rated 5-star in Europe. Why in the US? I don't know. But they do give it a 5-star rating in London, so I'm assuming some of you people out there are reading it, and I appreciate that, and that you're watching my videos. So that's a good thing. Okay, anyways, this mannequin, what we did before, I showed you how to cut curly hair, and basically you use your pick, and you only dampen it. You do not get it wet to where it's wet, because damp still keeps that area of curl. And how much damp? Gosh, I gotta tell you, my preference is cut it dry. It's better to cut it dry because you see the natural fall of the hair, and then once you're just about cutting where you're doing cleanup, then slightly and only dampen the area at the ends. Again, curly hair is pretty tricky to cut. But what I want to show you, the reason I'm using this mannequin to show you the 180 is I want to show you what the effect of razor work does to it. It's not going to make it all poofy. It is still going to hug the head form, but yet there's going to be a little bit of volume up here because of that. See, many times with the curly hair, yeah, it's curly down here, but it's usually flat on top. And people with curly hair want that volume, and you knowing how to do it. Now, I want you to, I do have an S right there for a reason, and I do have this is an FB. And I'll explain that to you in just a few minutes, because I want you to see the variables on both. But anyways, here's the diagram for it pretty much. You know how to do the diagram, the question mark, the number 1, and then the number 2. And I always put the ear in just so you can see that it is a head form. We're going to do a center part, and you're going to part it off the parietal line as well. All right, but we will have a center part. On one side, this is the reason for the S, we're going to do side to side. When you do side to side, it makes the hair lay down, but yet creates movement on the bottom, on the ends. The ends tend to scatter a bit. When you do it front to back, that's what this arrow is here, and you put in your own little notes. Learn how to read your own diagrams so you can go back. I mean, this is just, you know, I didn't write everything down because we're not going to spend that time now. If you want a class just on diagramming, please send me a note. I'll do it for you so that you can, you can see what is it that I need to write here. We could also have a review on the head form, because you know it's very detailed when I teach you guys. So, anyways, one side we're going to do side to side. The other side we're going to do front to back. When we finally blend, we're going to start up above the parietal line. All right? That's where we're going to create our foundation. When we blend, Down to the lower ridge, probably, maybe a little further. I don't think so, but it's not impossible. We may take it to the perimeter line, and then you use your parietal line as your guide. That's all just going to go straight up into it. You're no longer going to come up into the apex. None of that. This is actually, you guys know, this is a flat top. It ends up being a flat top. Once I teach you scissor over comb and trying to find a good male model to come in so I can show you how to do a flat top, because there's certain variables. A mannequin doesn't have cowlicks, a mannequin doesn't have direction on their hair growth, all of that stuff. So they just kind of clip the hair in there. But what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to section it out at the parietal line. I'm going to part her down the center first. And I am going to dampen the top because you should never razor cut with the hair dry. You're going to split those ends if you do, and then they're going to fly out. Needs to be cut dry. Now you guys remember how to find the parietal line, right? If you just place your comb at the center front, bring it around, that's your parietal line. If you keep the comb perfectly straight, you'll get a nice clean line. I know you can't see this line right now, but let me put it in, then I'll show it to you. So I'm going to bring that up. This side's going to be cut. Now there you go. You can see the parietal line. I want it just a little cleaner than that. Make that go around straight. Keep the comb straight. I know I elevated slightly, but keep it straight. There's your parietal line. Pair of eyes in the front. All right, so got that side done. I'm going to clip it up. Let me get the other side. Sorry it's been a while since we've done a video with teaching and all of that stuff, and finally spring break. Hopefully we'll be able to do a couple of videos next week for you. Let me know what you want to see. Again, if you hold the comb straight, see, it'll do it for you. Hold it straight. Hold it straight. And again, when I'm teaching this, it makes it just a little bit more difficult to do. All right, so I've got them both sectioned out. I am going to bring my mannequin down a bit, so the cameraman's going to bring it down to show you what...
It's good right there.
Yeah, but I need to, I'm going to be working like this, so I need to bring it down. And by the way, when you're working, try not to do this. The chair goes up and down. The stands go up and down, all right? Try and work with your hands straight out as often as you can. So I'm going to bring this down a bit. There you go. The client's only going to be there for a while. The client is not going to be there. You're going to be doing this all day. You've got to save your body. So we said that this side was going to be side to side. I'd say 99% of the people that do the 180 or hold hair straight up do it side to side. It's okay to do that, but then you have all these separate little lines, and what happens is you get movement but no volume because there's no strength in that. When you do it front to back, every one of those hairs is going to be the same length. So when they fall, they're going to fall together. That's a team, all right? So when you have all the hair falling together, what's going to happen is it's going to hug the head. And you're going to see the difference between the two when I finish this. You're going to see a little more movement, possibly a little more volume on this side. So when you're doing this on curly hair, remember, you're going to see why. Better to take it front to back than side to side. All right? So the decision here needs to be made. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to do it side to side here. I'm going to turn her around so I can show you, because I want you to see it. I'm probably going to end up standing on the other side. I want to get it good and wet, because like I said, I'm going to be using a razor. So in utilizing this razor, it's going to make a difference. get that center here wet. I don't want it all wet. Could I have taken this to the shampoo bowl? Yes, but I wanted you to see the effect of that shear cut with for the curly hair, and it was cut dry. I'm going to use my pick to pick this out and move it up. Okay, so I'm going to take just a small section here. Remember, this is going to be side to side. So I'm going to turn it around, slight angle for you. Just a small section, not all the way to the parietal line yet. I'd say this is not quite a ½ inch. I'm going to take my comb. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it straight up, and this is where we decide where do we want the layers to start. Now remember, this is curly hair. It's going to lay differently than straight hair. So do I want to take off a lot, or should I play it safe? Well, I'm going to take off about 2 inches, I'd say, holding it straight out. This is side to side. I'm going to take my razor. Where is it? Here it is. And I'm going to do a thing called peeling. And cameraman, I need you to get real close. I want you to see that the blade end of the razor, this razor, is going to face the client. The comb end is going to face me. Now, let me just stop for a minute. I know that people teach this method. It's not wrong, all right? Here is my problem with it when you're trying to take care of the front of the face, if you're slicing. It makes it a little bit of a hazard. That's my why. You have a choice. If you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. Some people say, well, you won't hold it at this angle anyways, and it wouldn't. The point is, you want to maintain control because, yeah, you're going to hold it at this angle and then pull away. Client safety is extreme. It's best to hold it at this angle. That's one reason I believe that they finally come up with razors that are all straight, to avoid that. So my thing is always hold it in this form so that you're holding that tang so it doesn't move. All right, so I'm going to take this now, and I want a pretty close-up, cameraman, on my fingers because let me turn her around because I want you to see this. You know how I've got it sectioned. All right. You still can't see it, can you? All right, let me get on the other side. I want to make sure you see it because it's extremely important. All right, take the comb down so it doesn't get in the way. Have about 2 inches. You're going to place your thumb at the end of the comb. The comb is going to come straight on to the hair, and then you're going to flip it up. See, it just comes right off. This is called peeling. Is it a perfectly straight line? Not perfectly straight, but it's not bad. All right, then you're going to take the next section. You're going to comb that back. This time we go all the way down to the parietal line. We take a small section off of that. Make sure you can see your guide. And there's my guide. There's those little short hairs. Yes, it's a little longer in the back. Okay. Let me make sure I've got this right. Okay. See, there it is, right there. There's the length. That's what I can see, just in case you can't. I want to make sure, because that length is going to stay the same. Again, take it, place it directly, and then flip it up. And that's peeling. Then you just kind of hold it there. Get those little ends out, and you'll get some little flighty ones. Okay, that goes down. Bring that other section up, and we're going to travel to the back. Now you notice this is getting longer. That's because it is longer. And we're sectioning it all the way down to the parietal line. There's my guide. I want to make sure that I've got it right there. Yes, and it looks like I'm taking off more than 2 inches, which I am, because it's traveling down. And you'll hear it cut. Now you're going to hold it straight up. You're not going to bring it forward. And if I'm bringing it forward, I apologize, because you hold it straight up. See, I got a few little scragglers there. Okay, now I take this, Take it to the back, only to the parietal line. There it is. But what you're going to see is a lot of movement. Take that hair off the razor as it builds up because the comb tends to hold it. So again, if I'm bringing it forward, I apologize. It's difficult for me to see it when I'm teaching it because you really should bring it straight up as you do it. All right, next section, down to the parietal line. Get a guide, and you can see all the way back. Peel it. And it's creating that angle into this area. You know that because I'm going here. So therefore this side, and you're going to get that little pointiness, but that side is shorter. All right, let me make sure. Where is it? There it is. All right, so quite a bit here, isn't it? Because yes, the hair at the crown, what? Traveled furthest down. So the hair at the crown of the parietal area travel farther down than the hair. So this is what I want you to see though with the razor work. See, you don't have that blunt end. So do you see how there's a lot of movement? You can see the wet and the dry. There's a lot of movement, but it's hugging itself. That's what you get with the razor. That's why if someone with really curly hair wants layers, you almost have to use a razor so that it lays within itself better. All right, now, so what I'm going to do now, the reason I mark this is side to side, right? In other words, side to side if you're doing the whole top, but I also want to do the bottom side to side to fit into it. Always close your razor when you're not using it. Please don't ever just set it down open. Not a good idea for you. It's just, these are good professional habits to keep. All right, let me grab my water bottle real quick. Sorry, I hope no hair's sticking up. I do have a video out there if you want to laugh. Great video till I turn around and you see this little peak sticking up. Then that's a deterrent to learning. I'm here to teach you, not to impress you. So try to listen to my teaching and don't judge me. Okay, so I'm just getting this wet. Because what I'm going to do now is I am going to take it down to the perimeter line when I cut it. So what I'm going to do still yet is turn this around so you can see it. I'm going to take it all the way down. I'm going to bring it all the way up and still cut it, what? Side to side. But you're going to see a lot of movement, and you're going to see it lay within itself. So you'll see the difference in a minute as far as why you would make the choice on front to back as opposed to side to side. Now let's say that she doesn't want, now see the hair at the perimeter line, it's not going to be shorter. All right, that's not being cut. It's hair pretty much closer to the lower ridge, like I said, that's being cut. And you can see that. See, that's falling down. It's only hair pretty much at the lower ridge that's being cut. So I'm just going to keep going. So I know that I don't have to go all the way down to the nape when I section this. And I'm traveling around it because the head is around now. Once you get back to the area behind the ear, in back of the ear here, you want to start pivoting around the head. You don't want to draw that hair forward. You want to keep your line consistent and the same. Because this is front to back. Okay, right here at the, see, there you go. Don't need that. This is dry hair. I should wet it, but I want to get this video done for you, but it should be wet. Okay, I wanted to show you the other cut. See that little piece? There. But look at the way, the movement you get, but yet because of the razor, it fits in. but there's a lot of movement there. And I'm going to get that center back. Again, only to the, I should wet this, I don't feel good about that. It's not right, so just certain standards you have when you're cutting hair, you know already. You don't, and when you don't, you don't. Remember, she said no. Kidding. All right, there you go. So all of it's been pretty much done what? Front to back, in other words, lines. Just a bunch of little vertical lines. That's what they are. I'm gonna move my comb out of the way there. Get that hair out of my razor. Get those little ones. And if you need to change your blade, change your blade. But you can see a lot of movement, all right? All of those little curls are really just fanned out. A little bit of mousse, a little bit of pomade will do that for you. But yet now, she's got just a scotch more volume as opposed to it laying flat. There's more movement in there, and that's the 180. Hold on a minute. Now let's do this side. So when we do it front to back, let me get this out of the way. Sorry, you guys. Get this nice and wet, and I'm going to move her over again. Now, if you have an educator, if you have a teacher that is proficient with the razor, find out as much as you can, because razors do have a why about them. Why you would use it, why you would not use it. Can you use a razor on fine hair? Yes, you can. Especially if it's fine, curly hair. Depending on what you want to do. And you're going to see here in just a minute where the front to back and the difference that you're going to get. It's a slight difference, but it's a difference. All right, so on the front to back, if you want to practice both sides, I'll tell you, I'm going to show you what to do so that you can see the effect on your own mannequin or possibly on a victim that you might find that will let you cut their hair. I call them victims. Okay, front to back. Now remember, if I was doing the side to side, I would have done it side to side, all of it, and I would have taken vertical partings all the way up. Now what we're doing is we're taking horizontal partings. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick this up, and I want this, of course, to match with the other side. There you go, and there's my guide. So I'm just going to put the comb down instead of making that. So see it? I hope you can see it. Let me turn her around because I want to make sure that you can. Again, flip it, flip it. Can you see it, cameraman, or do I need to do it on the other side?
Actually, you can see it better a little the other way, I think.
Okay, so stand on the other side maybe, where I'm doing this?
Like that,
Okay.
right there.
So let me stand on the other side so you guys can see it. So I want you to truly see what I'm doing here. Okay, now I'm going to take this piece. This will be my guide for the next section. See it? And peel it. This will now be my guide for the next section. Only to the parietal line. And peel it. You can have all the hair wet. You know, I wanted to show you that look. Okay, now this is what I want you to kind of get a clue about. Do you see where the movement is less already with just that one being done? The other one, right away, movement all over. That's the team. They're all working together, vertically, you know, horizontally on the head form, front to back. But it's all coming down as opposed to all these little pieces. There's your why the front to back works better. All right, so I'm going to take a section right next to it, bring it up. Now that's my guide, holding it straight up. I've got the guide right next to it there. And you'll see a much softer look. If somebody says, I want layers, but I don't want it to fluff out too much, but I want a little bit of volume, this will create a little bit of volume, just not as much movement as the other side. And everything is done front to back. Okay, now I'm going to get down to the parietal line and bring that straight up. Again, horizontal, or front to back. As you travel down below the parietal line, it becomes a horizontal section, like this. All right? As you travel to the back, it's horizontal. Get that hair off. That's the one thing about the comb, it likes to keep the hair. Travel to the back, again, follow it through, horizontal. And probably, like I said, all you're going to do is go down to the lower ridge, because that hair off the side, see how that falls off, so you're not losing length. Because sometimes we don't want to mullet out of this. She said she wants to keep her bob haircut, but she'd like a little bit of layers. And we're taking it, like the drawing says, only to the parietal line. The parietal line. That's it. We're not going into the apex. None of that. Okay, let me get this other one here.
About 3 minutes.
Got 3 minutes, we're okay. We'll be able to show it. Okay, get this one here. Just go in, pick it up. Yeah, if there's any questions, anything that you want to know, razor work is amazing. I'd like to show you some sculpture cutting. Okay, now, even if I tousle it, you still get that inward. Look at the difference. See what I'm saying? Now, if this is straight hair and you want volume front to back, it's going to give you that volume on top. Curly hair, you see where it just relaxes it. This, you see the curls all the way to the top because of all those little lines. Here, the team players are holding that down. You decide what you want. Do you see that? People normally with curly hair don't want it to stick out. They want it to lay down. So do you see why curly hair is best to cut with a razor? But it's knowing what to do. And the slicing, go back to my razor cutting, because it shows you when you want it to lay down, when you want it to stand up. There's a way whether you cut down or whether you cut up with the razor. So the techniques don't change, but the geometry of it, the architecture of it. You see more volume on this side. It sticks out more. It separates more. This lays down more. All right? And that's what's going to happen with the razor. They're both nice cuts. But if you are trying to create layers, now I want to show you something. Let's see if I did this right or not. If this is a true 180, let's see if I messed up anywhere. Is it flat? Oh, I got one little piece right there, don't I? There's your 180 haircut. Straight across. It didn't change on either side. It's straight across. Does that look straight across, cameraman? Let me look at it in the mirror. Yeah, it does. Okay, good. That means I did it right, y'all. God bless. See you again.